Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I felt the need to come into my altar room just a little bit ago and kind of reflect a little bit for a couple of minutes after watching a recent video by E.A. Coetti. And it was kind of interesting because of the fact that he and I seem to be going through the exact same thing. And I find it humorous because you got people attacking him, trying to shame him. I've got people sitting there telling me that you can't do this, you can't do that, within occult symbols, and how should I say this? Occult sigilliums. You know, you can't put these two things together. It's like, really, says who? Because you've seen these things in books, you've seen these things on the internet, you've seen them in videos, and yet these people are telling you can't do this. It's funny because this one individual ended up attacking, sending a letter to EA upon his mala beads and tattoos and stuff like that, and shirts, and they have sigils and stuff on them. And he replied today upon that very letter, and it got me thinking about all these sheep who are afraid of change. How they're afraid to go out and practice for themselves and not for someone else. To actually go out and actually learn about their practices, about the various different types, styles, and traditions that are out there, and utilize what they've learned to better their lives. And I started thinking about the last 2 years and how, well, I should say actually the 5 years that I've been on Facebook and YouTube, teaching, guiding, ministering. And I've come across a few. One, Ty J. Dawson, who wants to set up things, but yet can't handle the stress and flees. Passes his orders, his groups off to somebody else. 9 times out of 10, it is somebody like his second in command. And then he just flees, and you don't hear anything from him until he pops up a couple months down the road. But then you have individuals like Telia Curtis, aka Petrova, the founder of the Children of the Serpent. Now, here's what's funny about this little fucktard, okay? And yes, I'm going to call her a fucktard because she doesn't learn. And yes, I do have friends that have kept, I have kept friends, I have friends that keep an eye on her. I have friends who come out of the woodworks and just say, hey, have you heard the latest on this? And yes, I've also been watching her videos myself here on YouTube. And there's one particular video that I found almost laughable because of the fact that she and Alfredo Martinez, who is the founder of the Dark Sorcery Group on Facebook, was trying to do a ritual. Now, Alfredo was on the floor with a sigil and chalk. And here's the funny thing. He's got a candle going, incense going. And she's standing there with a phone with a flashlight on. Okay? Number one, if you're doing a demonic invocation or evocation, or even just plain summoning to manifestation a demon, you're showing disrespect to the inner sanctum by bringing in a light source that is not natural. Now, you notice right here, I have a candle going. Okay, this is just for me to focus my mind and my thoughts. Okay, normally when I come in here, I have a lot of candles going. Okay, but I don't bring out an extra source. Now, I'm going to turn around here so you can actually see something. Okay, you notice right here, I have two curtains, black, to this door, one on either side, to keep the natural light, all that light sources of the day out of my altar room. Okay, and I have another altar set up right here. It's not being used right now because of the fact that I've got some changes I'm doing. But you see how black my altar room is and my ritual room. Okay, so by bringing in another light source, no wonder they didn't get any, you know, manifestation. No wonder they didn't get any reply. Okay, any sorceress who has been doing this, even for 5 months, has come across numerous resources telling you it is a bad idea to bring in a non-natural light source, like a candle flame. Okay, got incense going. Okay, it sets that mood. It gets you into that right frame of mind. Okay, but here's the funny thing is that she has caused so much issue, so much drama, and so much chaos that it's outstanding at the stupidity of these newcomers that are eating out of the palm of her hand. Okay? There's no ending to the source of stupidity. For an example, my first encounter with her was when she asked me to teach in her group. And I always gave references and I've always given sources so that the inspiring adept or neophyte, acolyte, can go out and get the material and research for themselves. Okay? But she got a hair across her ass because she was made to look the fool. For an example, I was teaching one day on the political aspects of religions here in the United States. What makes a protected religion? What makes a foundation or a spiritual path protected by the United States government, specifically the Constitution? Okay, and what is the difference between the United States Constitution of freedom of religion and that of, say, for an example, the Ramsey Law or that of a district or borough? Okay, and she basically came under and said that Satanism is not a protected religion. Now, even though you have 4 people telling her that she was wrong, she made the mistake of saying that she used to be a government agent, okay? She used to work for a federal government agency. Now, we're talking about a woman, from what I understand, from somebody that knows her quite well, that she's getting ready to go to court for prostitution, and she's got one of the nation's baddest gangs after her. Okay? Now, here's what's funny. Even though I showed her physical proof about, say, what makes a protected religion, she not only removed me from her group, but she banned me, and she has blocked me and unblocked me for almost a year and a half, to the point where I don't even reply to her. This last time, I didn't even reply to her when she messaged me personally. But here's the funny thing, okay? You got this new individual that's going back and forth between Telia and myself. And she's trying to play the, how should I say this? She's playing the peacekeeper, so to speak. And it's like, you don't know the shit that this woman has stirred up. You don't know her past. But you don't know about all the people that she has wronged, that she has harmed, and all those people who she has betrayed. And this is a prime example. So, this individual is trying to defend this woman. And it's like, why don't you go and you ask Caitlin White, a.k.a. Lady Raven, a.k.a. Raven White, okay, about why she left Telia Curtis. In fact, why don't you ask Telia Curtis about how I showed physical evidence proving her wrong, shaming her, but most importantly, making her look foolish and stupid as an admin in her own group with actual facts and evidence to back it up. Okay? But this woman's not going to do that because she would rather be a part of society. She would rather be a part of the herd conformity. So, you see, E.A. Koetting is not the only one who's dealing with people trying to shame him, trying to prove that he is wrong or is doing wrongful things. I myself continuously get called a plagiarist, which is hilarious because I've never plagiarized anything in my life. I have always backed up my videos and my posts with physical references, either through words or through writing. And I can honestly see why people like S. Connolly simply share links. Or that of, say, for example, the Cabal, the Mazarine Cabal, run by Subnis Dreadwood, turn off the notifications so you can't type or ask questions or whatever on their videos. I can actually see why Alistair Notch, a very wise man in theistic Satanism, he got rid of his Facebook page and literally just put in a blog page. He does a blog here on YouTube and he does a blog on Facebook. I can see why people simply write a book and just share the link so that you can go out and buy these materials and learn and study for yourselves. But Telia Curtis, on the other hand, she doesn't do this stuff. In fact, she actually stole and plagiarized a book that was being written by an old friend of hers and a current friend of mine. Yet, what is it going to take for people to realize that these individuals are only out for themselves and to use you? When are you going to wake up and see who the true black magicians are? Do you know how many times people have attacked me only to come groveling back after going with people like Telia Curtis and begging for my forgiveness? I mean, sure, Caitlin White has betrayed me twice, okay, and I won't allow her to have a third time. Okay, so I basically blocked her. Gordon Carnes, he betrayed me once and went with Telia Curtis, only to come back and apologize like a man, stating that he was wrong to even follow her. Okay? But what's funny is how many people have left Telia Curtis in the dust. Because of her portrayals and wrongdoings. You have individuals out there who will sit there and tell you that you cannot do this. You cannot do that. This can't be done. That can't be done. It doesn't. And this is where I concur fully with E.A. Koetti, is that you don't have to be a part of a culture to learn the mechanics, the tools to which work. In voodooism, this is known as a boko or a bokor. And hoodooism, the same thing. But when you go down into, say for an example, Palo Mayombe, which is mostly in the southwest of the United States, there are a few practitioners who are up in New York. What's funny is I started learning from Palo Mayombe from a couple Paleros. And I got this one guy that really despised the fact that I created the Enneagra from scratch, just by tools that I had right here in my altar room. He hated that fact that he told one of them not to associate with me. And he did. He basically blocked me on this man's word. And it's like, didn't you just tell me that your godfather is out of New York? So why are you listening to this other guy? And this is the point. When people listen to other people and they don't back up their stories, when they don't back up what they preach, you got what is called a hypocrite. Okay? And those who follow these hypocrites, I commonly refer to as fucktards, sheeple, because that's what they are. Now, it's not to be mean or to criticize them. It is more about calling them out on their bullshit, their lies, and making people aware of them. These people are out there. E.A. Quenning knows this better than anyone. I can't tell you how many times I've seen in his videos where he's been attacked, only to come back 10 times stronger, 10 times more powerful. I've seen where people have attacked the cabal, and yet they run like rodents. I've seen where people have tried attacking me, only to run and block. So we know all too well that these individuals exist. We know that their only function is to disrupt what you do. And that's all they are, is a disruption. They're they are a psychic vampire, as Anton Szandor LaVey put it. And that is their purpose. They're leeches, nothing more. They live to suck the life out of you. But you as individuals have the right to cut that cancer out, root, foot, and nail. Rip it right out and get rid of it. That is your right to do so that you can prosper, so that you, as the adept, the neophyte, the acolyte, or even the practitioner, can grow and mature within your path. Because each path is unique. And you have to be the one to figure out for yourselves what works. Someone like me, somebody Dreadwood, Marcus, let's say for example, JD, Curtis Joseph, S. Connolly, Michael W. Ford, Alistair Notch. Let's go with E.A. Coetting, S. Ben Cayenne, Azaneth Mason, you know, all these practitioners who have literally written books, who have been teaching online, putting posts forth. We can guide you to the materials, but we're not going to do the work for you. This we can tell you about our own personal experiences, but you really have to step up and do your own research. Because if you don't, you're no better than Christianity. You know, being led by the hand as a child. If you want to be an adult, to quote from the Bible, out of the four Gospels, Jesus said, "When I was a boy, I spoke as a child, and when I became a man, I spoke as one." Now, why do you suppose he stated that fact? Why did he quote that specific phrase? When I was a child, I spoke as one, and when I became an adult, I spoke as one. Why did he pray so much? Why did he do what he did? Why was he the opposer? Why did he carry that mantle of righteousness? I'm kind of, while I'm thinking about this, there's a song by Five Finger Death Punch. And it's one of my favorite songs by them, outside of Wash It All Away. Something about that song I just love. But anyways, the song that I'm talking about is "The Wrong Side of Heaven" by Five Finger Death Punch. And the lyric goes, "I'm on the wrong side of heaven and the righteous side of hell." Okay? This speaks of a balance, the balance factor. And I think, and this is my personal opinion, is that if people pulled their head out of their asses and started doing things for themselves, and not only doing things for themselves, but to physically, you know, show things both with words and actions, like doing a ritual, for example, right here, okay? And it's on camera. Okay, so you're seeing it in full view. You're seeing it in teaching. In words, but more importantly, you're seeing it visually. Okay, and I think that if people see this and they start doing it more, they start taking what they've learned and they've started learning for themselves, then I think a lot of this drama would just fade away. I think that people tend to put themselves into not only a state of adversities, but also a state of separation. You know, to go back to, for example, the 1950s, the segregation times, where blacks had to be in the back of the bus and the whites up front. Okay? Where even if we go back in time to where there was slavery and all this stuff, now I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with what I'm talking about? And it's quite simple, really. People are still doing this. I mean, you look at some of the news reports. An African American child chooses to draw down with a Glock or a 9mm to a white police officer to the point where that officer has to put that kid down before he hurts someone else or the officer in a form of self-defense. It doesn't become about the wrongdoings of that child, but instead it becomes segregation. It becomes about race. Okay? The same thing is done in religions where people put themselves into encampments. This is called diversity, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Diversity is where people put themselves into separate divisions of segregation or separation. Okay? And this alone creates the drama and chaos because not only do you get these false cults that arise in the same manner, you ask Rose McGowan, who came from a Christian cult. Okay? Hell, even my son's mother is a part of a Christian cult right here in the Bangor, Maine area. Okay? She actually wanted her daughter to give up her friends and her family, her job, her apartment, and move down to an area in Virginia for a single mother's nun camp. Okay? When she found out her daughter was pregnant. Okay? And what's interesting about this is that I called her out on her bullshit. And the next thing she did was accuse us of child abuse. Okay? And that was something that was just basically a low blow. It's retaliation. And basically what a lot of these divisions do. One claims to be right, others are all wrong. Okay, it's like Christianity or the Judeo-Christian societies. Everyone's wrong except for them, but yet they don't smell their own bullshit. Okay? When we get into paganism, when we get into voodoo or hoodooism, you got certain people who sit there and say, well, you can't do this without being initiated. Well, how do I become initiated? Well, you got to pay $50. Well, why is money involved? Okay? You know, I may respect E.A. Koenig and what he's doing, and I may support what he's doing. But the prices on his books are outrageous. Okay? And I'm just saying that because I don't believe, this is my personal belief, that you should not charge for your services unless it's something that is going to cost you an arm and a leg. Like, say, for example, if you charge just enough for the resources that you have to gain, like, let's say, for an example, you need rusty nails, you need silver, Okay, you need graveyard dirt, or you need incense. Okay, you need mason jars, or even hex bags. Grist bags. Okay, then charge for those items. Just that type of thing. But to have a book that's worth, that's priced at $200 to $500, or even $1,000. I think one of E.A. Koetting's books was actually, last time I looked on eBay, was about $1 million, $1 million, or 1.5 mil, if I remember correctly. Okay, but if you go underneath Amazon, you can find them what used to be $30, which is now $100. And it's like that's just overpriced books, especially for essays. Okay, but these essays can actually teach you a lot about sorcery, because it's written by numerous magicians. So, I mean, I'm not saying the material is worthless, because it's not. It's actually beneficial, because you're gaining that information, that knowledge from these sorcerers who have actually practiced. But the pricing of the books being anywhere from $2 to $1,000, okay, is outrageous. And I mean, it's just overpriced books. And I think a lot of people see that and they don't want to deal with it. So they're going to wait until they find it for 25, $30. Or if they're able to, especially on Amazon, you can actually go underneath cheaper books by third party sellers. Maybe getting a book that's been used or read. Okay, same exact thing, but does it make it division? The answer is no, because the one thing I've always supported and concurred with E.A. Koetting is this. He's not only a career black magician, but he's one of the truest ones I've seen, where he is actually a practitioner. He is out there teaching, he is out there guiding, and most importantly, he's putting the works forth with the tools that actually work. How do I know this? Is because I've taken things from his videos and I've applied it. I've experimented with it. Okay, I've done my own research into it. So I know that these rituals work. Like for an example, the ritual to bring forth someone to love you. One of those love type rituals that he did. To do a visual sigil, demonic sigil invocation. A prayer to the demon. I've done this stuff. This is one of the reasons I like the Cabal so much, is because of the fact, the works by Simon Stredwood, is because it's so easy to do these rituals. I did a ritual, my very first ritual through the Cabal was through an item of protection. And not only did it come up the exact same way that it was written in the book that would happen, but it happened within 5 minutes. It was that quick. And I have to give them props, because not only did Simon Stredwood put out works that actually work, but it's true. I haven't had any issues. No one's attacked me. Nobody's, brought drama or chaos in my life since I did that ritual with that one item of pure silver. But I've also seen how these things work, the mechanics of it. And E.A. Koetting is right about the tools. He's putting forth tools that actually work for the sorcerer or the sorceress. So when we're talking about reflection upon videos done by either yourself or someone else, I do concur with you that with EA Koetting on replying. And one of the things I wrote on this video was I like the fact that he backs everything up with facts. Okay? Facts. Now, I just personally, I wish you'd actually put references down so that, those who watch the videos or those that, work with the deities, the gods, the old ones, could actually go out and get the references on them, for themselves and actually do their own research. It's kind of like that old expression, that old proverb, which says to give a man a fish feeds him for a day, but to teach a man how to fish feeds him for life. You know, but then you got the other one where it says a man who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. Okay, and this is something else you want to pay attention to because even though I'm still reflecting on this video that he did today at 11 a.m., I do concur with the fact that these individuals who will go out and purposely go against everything that they believe just to get you, to get you to incriminate yourself. Like the rules only apply to them and not you. I've had this done to me myself. So I know that it's true because I've preached, and I've done references and everything like this in groups on the term warlock. And yet I've been basically, well, the term gangbanged came to mind, bullied, harassed. And yet it's like you bring up the rules to the group and the admin just removes you and not them. It's like that's another form of hypocrisy. Hello. But my point is this. If you're going to get into the actual workings of and mechanics of any form of path, remember that you're going to have individuals who are going to create adversities, segregation, set themselves into divisions. They're gonna try to shame you and to badger you. They'll talk shit about you behind your back. To this day, I still get reports from time to time from Ty J. Dawson, who is downright petrified of me because I called him out on his shit and ran him off Facebook for over a year and a half. Hell, even social media for that matter. And what's funny is that I still get these reports where he's telling people that if you want to be friends with me, you gotta block Mike Tyson. And it's like, seriously? What the fuck? But anyways, you're gonna come across these people, so don't let it get to you. Don't let them get you down. Really just continue on doing what you're doing because those who truly are into the magics, those who are truly into the sorceries, will stick by you. And trust me, I know because I've had a lot of people come to me and say, thank you for all you do. Thank you for not getting involved in the drama and the chaos. Thank you for putting forth the works of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and not allowing these morons to get you down, to discourage you. And this is actually truth right here because when you got people who will sit there and tell you the way it is, what's going to happen? Some people are going to take that when it does happen to them and say, well, you cursed me. Others are going to sit there and go, wow, he was right. Those who sit there and say, wow, he was right. Well, these are individuals who are paying attention. These are individuals who are doing the work. And that's a good thing. That really is. Does it mean we have to be unified? No. I may not agree, as I stated, I may not agree with a lot of things from a lot of authors or a lot of practitioners, but how can you agree with 100% of things? You're going to find things that you don't agree with. You're going to find things that you personally don't resonate with. That's just a fact of life. But you can take what works for you and turn it into something good. Just like E.A. Koetting has done. Just like Sumnus Dreadwood has done. Just like S. Connolly has done. Through blood, sweat, tears, and hard work. Plain and simple. All right? So, with that said, that's been this video on the reflection of a recent video. And I think I'm going to be doing some more videos shortly, and or at least another video. And I'm going to be going into some depth on some things that I think really do need to be addressed. So, but anyways, for now, this video is done. Hope it's been enlightening. Hope it's been educational. And you can always hit me up if you want. Just message me on Messenger, or it may take me a few minutes to a little bit to realize that, hey, you know, there's a whole nother page there. You're gonna, go underneath new individuals who are trying to message you. But, I will get back to you because that's the second rule I live by, which is to always make yourself available to the public. And the first, well, always back up what you preach. So, all right. Have a good one. This Dark Sorcerer is out.